What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Musi Gaming here, and today we want to talk about the Zone 5 fighting that we had for the past 3 days. I mean, those of you who actually follow my stream, you guys can actually see me fight for like 3 consecutive days. And we have the results out, and let's talk about it. And as you guys can probably see from the marker here, unfortunately, we have lost the territory entirely. You have lost the occupation. We have force around here. I think like less than 24 hours ago. Now we just went ahead and deleted all of it. And yeah, let's talk about this zone fight because it was pretty interesting. So as the pass fours opened here, we actually had force built around the center objective here, which is I think called I forgot what it was called. Tempest Sanctuary, right? This will give you 10% march speed, which is really nice. And then also at the same time, if you do control this zone completely, we'll be able to get some buffs like this that will give you extra 5% attack. I think that one, and then there's this one right here that gives you 5% defense. I believe, yeah, 5% troop defense. So this zone was fight over buffs, which included march speed, attack, and defense, right? So yeah, and we had forts built, and we were actually able to surround the fort all the way here with our territory initially on the day one. And then the only force that they actually had kind of defending against us was this one right here, and then this one right here. And we had the force built around here, and then we had flags built all over the sanctuary, and then we had our allies flags built up to here. So now when that happened, obviously, I think we thought we were in a pretty good spot. We were winning almost every fight that we were fighting. And then our allies, which is 2939, now our kingdom, which is 2939, which is primarily a Vietnamese kingdom, by the way, will have a downtime. Obviously, when you're living in a certain time zone, you will have downtime at certain hours, and that downtime for us, happened. And then when that happened, we got pushed back pretty significantly. So day 2 of the stream, we got pushed up all the way to like right here, over the center. And day 2, we came back on. We had still force around here and here, and then we were pushing back with our ally here at I believe their kingdom is called 3497. So that, along with 3497, we were pushing over here. And then our allies here at 1538 was actually fighting over here. And then we were pushing as from this side to this side. And then we got to a point where we were able to rally each forts that were built around here and here. And then we were like, okay, cool. We're doing fine. And then we went off, and then it got pushed all the way down to where we were almost our alliance fortresses were burnt as we kind of went off to the offline time for day 2. We didn't have that many people, so I couldn't really rally so much. So we were like, okay, well, I guess we lost the zone. And then as we enter day 3, we actually pushed all the way back to where they are right now. I think we had a enemy fort right here. I think they might have deleted it. And then we were able to push it all the way back there. And we were like, okay, well, I guess we might have a chance. And then I think 12 hours later, we were trying to see if we can actually control this zone more. But unfortunately, I think at that point, we had our allies fort that had very low HP because it was burning overnight. And unfortunately, it was captured. And that's when we were like, okay, we can't fight over this zone with just 2939 holding their fort. So we went ahead and called it GG. And that's how this pass 4 opening in Zone 5 went. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at... Let me see if I can get the image up here. Yeah. Let's go ahead and take a look at the kingdom breakdown of the performers. 2939 did apparently the best with 19 billion kill points gained from this zone alone, and this zone and this fight alone, along with some fire camps that did exceptionally well too. 2261 did exceptionally well, and then 2158, which is actually our main opponent. I think they were the guys that were holding right here. Holding right here. They gained about 13 billion kill points. And then our allies, here at Water Camp, 3497 actually performed pretty well with 12 billion. But then again, you can see that the rest of the members of Storm Camp actually did perform exceptionally well compared to other members of our camp. I think that might have probably caused where we couldn't really fight without 2939 problem that I was seeing. I think this is kind of evident from what we're seeing here. So during the downtime in 2939, we were basically getting pushed around. No flags were actually able to be defendable and all that stuff. And you guys can see that there's other members of the water camp that are sitting right here. And there's this one kingdom, 2987, which seemed to have not participated in the fights almost at all, which is unfortunate. But that's how it happened. So that's the basic stats. I'm particularly proud about 2939 members who I think a lot of our fighters have actually migrated out of the kingdom in the last last kind of immigration wave, and a lot of people actually came into the kingdom as well. And thankfully, everyone actually fought and held their ground. So I would like to first give a big shout out to 2939 for fighting as hard as they did. And as you guys can see, evidently, we have actually acquired the most amount of kill points throughout the zone. Now let's just go ahead and also see what's going on the other side of the map. Luckily, our allies here at Fire Camp actually were able to beat the enemy camp here at the Earth Camp pretty significantly, I would say. And they have full control of the zone, it looks like. Let me see. Yeah, so these guys are fire camps. I don't know about... I think that might be Earth. No, these are all fire camps. So fire camp has basically full control of the zone. You guys can see that Earth camp has actually been pushed back all the way to their passes. So that is good. That means that we will potentially be able to get the buffs that are standing here, as well as Bastion, so we can get the Crystal Tech up and all that stuff. Since Fire Camp already has control over this zone and they have buffs, so Wind Camp will actually control this buffs right here, and then Earth Camp, I would assume that they will control this buff right here. So we'll all have even number of buffs for Sanctuaries and all that stuff for past 7 and past 8 opening eventually. So that's good. That means that even though we lost our zone, we actually will have enough fighting power, at least on par of fighting power as the Wind Camp does. So that's going to be really good. So yeah, the KvK will be playing out more evenly than we thought, given that even though that we lost this zone. So that's good. And yeah, so that's basically it. Probably in the upcoming weeks, I'm going to try to barb chain as much as possible so that I can get some speed ups back. I have actually gained about 400 million kill points from this zone right here. You guys can see that I think I was at like 5.05 billion kill points, and then I did gain about 400 million. So I'm pretty proud of it. I did lose some power. You guys can see that I went from like 85 million to 80 million. And I did try to be as careful as possible. And you see that I have about 679,000 deaths. Mostly from reinforcing urgently and swarming the passes, swarming the enemy flags and alliance fortresses, basically. So if something was going against our way and we just wanted to make sure that that flag does burn, I swarm. And I try to not do that as much as possible in this KvK because I've been zeroing myself practically every single KvK for doing that. But I couldn't help it. I couldn't help in some occasions that I had to like just swarm flag. You know, it was unfortunate. And yeah, and that's where I am. And obviously, I did have some updates to my gear actually. You guys can see that obviously my equipment is all fixed because it was maxed out before the KvK Pass 4 opening started. But as we entered Pass 4 opening, I did make some update to my first inscription, which is the Northern Parchment. As you guys might have already known from me constantly talking about it, Destructive for this slot is actually not the best slot, right? So we have it is better for you to actually get something else, something that actually does give you buff for this slot right here for scroll, especially for arch. All the other armament formations, you know, the legendary inscription is better. So as I've showcased before in live streams and all that, I do have one that is ready once I do transfer over to Delta. That is Thrasher with max damage and max cavalry defense, kind of ready to go. But at this point, when we were still fighting in with arch formation, I needed something better than what I had before, which was this one right here, Iron Wall. It has maxed out attack and almost maxed out defense, but it is missing 1% health. But that 1.5% less damage taken from normal damage was the big kind of perk that I was utilizing for my rallying garrison in the rallies that I ran with Attila Subutai. But now, and I had this armament actually sitting in my armament box for a while because Pulverize and Warcry are both exceptional armaments, armament inscriptions, regular inscriptions, and Warcry will give you that 3.5% attack. That would actually add up to 3.3% attack that I'll be getting, which is probably equivalent to like 1% or 1.5% all damage equivalent. And then having Pulverize on top of that, which whenever the wielder's troop launches any type of basic attack, it has 10% chance to gain a 20% bonus to all types of normal damage dealt for 1 second with cooldown of 5 seconds. So this in average probably also gives about like 1% of all damage buff. So with those two combined, I thought it would be better than having the Iron Wall in there. So as we entered past for opening, I was like, okay, well, let's just go ahead and see if I can actually re-scroll that. And as I posted on some of the videos that I posted before, you guys can see that I have a pretty decent statted, triple statted armament here. Of course, it's missing some stats here and there, but then again, it is good for me to use, I think, until I actually go ahead and transfer the arch formation over to Delta. So I was pretty happy with this. So that's the only update that I made. Obviously, I'm running on cavalry stuff with cavalry number 2. Pretty decent set, full credit except for the ring because I wasn't as fortunate as I did when I was crafting the horn right here. Iconic 4 on the weapon and then Iconic 3 here on the helmet for unit capacity. I am trying to see if I can get the helmet to Iconic 4 for extra damage, and then Ash of the Dawn for extra damage for 1.5% on the field. And then it is sitting on my secondary armament setup, which is Hunter balance on top of 2 rare inscriptions. I unfortunately did not get really lucky with my armaments, as I've been saying before. So don't really have legendary inscriptions. Second set of legendary inscriptions for Focus Fire and Boiling Blood. So that's what he's sitting on. Qin Shi Huang did actually exceptionally well, given the fact that all my tech was actually focused on cavalry. And you can see that I have 4 pieces of Dragon Breath with Leadership Pants and Boots, with March Speed and Ring of Doom for extra damage and March Speed, and have decent amount of stats from Wedge with Fit and Hardy on top of 6.3% health and with 3.1% all damage with Hunter for extra damage as well. And then my Baichi did okay, actually, given the fact that I do now have him on Hammer of Sun and Moon and Helm of Conqueror. I do kind of feel like he is a little bit slow, even despite the fact that I am having wind scars on him, just so that he doesn't really fall behind because he's not wearing 4-piece infantry pieces bonus as like it is recommended recently. But yeah, he's doing his job as a buffer, I think, with Karuak's War Drums. And when we do enter later zones, and when I do actually have Liu Che attached behind Arthur for the armament, for the artifact march that I do want to use, because Arthur Liu Che does really well, especially if you have all the right things for Arch. I'm going to actually have him paired up with Philip, which will basically make him a very, very strong buffing march. So having a drum here actually does help. And so those are the 4 marches that I have running. And obviously I do have sometimes run Siege March on the field, as well as Guan Yu. I haven't actually drawn him out too much because he's missing pants for one thing, and 2, like his stuff is actually not on par with everything else that I have. He's just going to die instantly, and it's not worth, I think, using infantry to kind of have him run at the end of the day too. And there are some things that I unfortunately have saw that I was very disappointed about, and that I would like to hope that over the next couple of zone fights, our Kingdom Mace would actually fix, or Cat Mace would actually fix, is tech. Now, I'm not saying that you should have full tech, like everyone should have full tech and all that. But I feel like if you're a rally or garrison lead, no matter what it takes, I think you need to make sure that you have the full tech kind of maxed up for the zone. I think that is courteous of people who are lending you troops. At the end of the day, rallying and garrisoning is an act of lending the troops so that you can, from your allies, from your alliance members, to make sure that you can actually rally and garrison for objectives, right? And for people who are spending for rallying garrisoning, I'm not saying that you should try to like buy every single tech bundles, but with the new crystal technology, you should at least try to see if you can get leadership 1 and 2 maxed out, so that when you're rallying on Alliance Fort, we don't see 2 million rally capacity people rallying a fort, rallying an Alliance Fort. That is 1 million troop difference that you're trying to overcome. You're obviously not going to trade better than the enemy. But one of our campmates, unfortunately, I've seen them run rallies with 2.06 million rally cap, 2.6 million rally caps. And it's just, I feel like it's just something that as a rally you should probably try to fix, in my opinion. And I'm not saying that you should try to max out everything like I did. And I didn't buy every single bundle that was available until past 4 opening. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't buy all the dailies. I bought a couple days worth of dailies, and then I bought the pop-ups. I bought the first Mountain Warfare, and I'll probably never spend on this KvK ever, because that's what the new KvK technology allows you to do. You don't need to buy more Mountain Warfare than the first one. And then you can actually, for the next fights, actually max out everything that you have seen here. The infantry damage reduction, archer damage reduction, and then cavalry damage reduction, because the new KvK technology is cheaper, right? But what's the point of you having a rallyable, account with all those crazy techs and equipments if you don't have the KvK technology, man? Like, if you don't have KvK technology, I think you should try to just focus on field fighting and not rally Alliance Fortresses, in my opinion. So that was kind of disappointing for me to see from our catmates. Obviously, I'm not talking about everyone who did fight with us in this zone. There's a couple kingdoms that I've just seen that happened. So it is unfortunate. It's just, again, disrespectful for the members that are joining the rallies, in my opinion. If you're rallying for a fort, make sure you at least have the maximum amount of rally capacity that you can possibly bring to the field. 2.06 million is just insulting, right? And yeah, and like I said, we are pretty even on both sides now. Thanks to our allies who have won their zone, Firecam, who has won their zone. So we should be able to control some buffs here so that we can fight on par with the enemy, who is the WinCam, in the future zones. So let's just make sure that we don't abuse this opportunity that was not earned, because we did not control this zone, right? We did not, with our own power, we did not control this zone with our power, right? We needed someone else to win their zone so that we can actually get buffs in other zone 5, right? So let's just make sure that opportunity is not missed out. And yeah, let's try to win. At the end of the day, yeah, let's just try to win. That's all I'm trying to say. If you haven't been really logging on, if you're part of our campmate and you really haven't been fighting, then I would ask you to join the main coalition and then fight for the future zones, because we needed every single one of you. And some kingdoms that were in our camp unfortunately did not really bring out their full power, is how I felt. So rally and garrisonings, please make sure that you do fully tech up before the future fights. And I didn't I didn't build the best cavalry sets in the game. One of the best cavalry sets in the game, and obviously, I didn't go in and study okay, well, the arch, you don't really want destructive here. You want to make sure that you have actually really really strong, 2 inscriptions. I didn't go and spend a lot of money, spend a lot of time kind of investigating, re-rolling stats on our armaments for no reason. I did it because I wanted everyone to do better. I wanted everyone in our kingdom to do better when we do rally stuff. But yeah, we can't. Let's be efficient. Let's be respectful for people who are lending you the troops. And yeah, let's win. Hopefully, we'll be able to come back in the later zones. Obviously, we have a strong ally that does put us ahead of the times. And then, good job in fighting for the last 3 days. I know that it's draining for you. It's draining for me. I mean, for God's sake, I'm probably down to the last 100 days of speed ups, right? Yeah, I'm down to like last 66 days of speed ups. So I do need to barb chain a lot in the next upcoming zones. And I do need to probably max out buying all those speed ups. But let's just make sure that we're fighting all of our campmates. Some of our campmates were fighting a lot, and I do appreciate that. But I felt like 2939 took a lot of the damage overall, in my opinion. So yeah, let's win. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys did watch this video, if you guys are enjoying today's video, please go ahead and drop me a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And as always, I'll see you all in the next video. All right, take care, everyone.